Welcome back to We Are Live, everybody. Midcoast Studio, Grand Center, St. Louis, Missouri. Check out midcoast.media for our capabilities. Love doing the podcast here at our very own studio. Love having Impolite Company in here in the mornings. We've got the Static Podcast. Lots of fun being had. Joining us live from Brooklyn, New York, Travis Terrell. He's at a P.F. Chang's getting free coffee and crab rangoons at his very... I don't know, whatever he feels like. Travis, how's New York? It's been 3.5 minutes since we saw you.
The city is beautiful. It's getting to that point where we're reaching consistent warm weather. So you're starting to see what New York is truly about with the trees blossoming and the folks in the streets. And it's really cool to be here this time of year. I'm going to be out here in the streets in just one moment. So I'm excited to bask in all the delis, yoga studios,
You said
coffee
bask in all the
shops.
delis. You just do a montage of Travis just lightly nibbling on sandwiches, and each.
Yeah, send us photos, please.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You and a rat sharing a hoagie.
Oh no, Travis squaring up with rats like they're trying to take his food. He's like, get back.
Nah,
get
they'll
back.
be sharing it, Lady and the Tramp style.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The rat's the
Ooh.
size of him. I like where this.
I think I
is.
just came up with another animated idea for Sesame Street.
That's who he's got to
Excuse
date
me.
with later is the rat.
Mm-hmm. She's quite cunning. We've got Devil's Advocate. Gardner, do you feel like jumping into that now?
Yeah, you guys want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Devil's Advocate. We're each given a subject, a person, a moment, something to defend, and Gardner decides who's who on this. So what
Why
do we
are
got?
you shaking your head, Travis?
I'm just listening to Chris's explanation of the segment we've done 75 times.
Go ahead. Bring it in. Come on.
No, I want to no, you had it.
No,
You seemed
be
like you
about
had
it. Be
what you
about
were
it.
gonna
Come with
say.
the come with the solution. Come with it. Tell me about Devil's Advocate. Come on, please tell me about it.
Chris and Travis each get a subject. They debate it, and whoever
Thank
does the
you.
best gets more points.
He's laughing his sick ass off.
There's no points involved, Tommy. But
wrong
we
one.
just, we just
Wrong
decided-
Sounded
game.
good. I believed it.
Wrong
Yeah.
game.
We
Which
just-
is the game with the points?
I'm not sure.
That is the Great American Race.
That's it. See, but I was pretty close. You guys both debate a topic, and that's the game.
That's true.
It's kind of the show.
It was about 6 words less than yours.
Good for you.
Okay.
Nice editing.
Keep it
You
concise.
should work for Sesame Street.
All right.
Instead, I work here.
Who wants to go first today?
Go ahead, Trav.
Travis will go first. So Travis will have to defend. Kind of touching on something we were discussing yesterday. Travis will have to defend Tommy's grandfather.
Oh.
Tommy's grandfather.
All right, we
There you
learned
go.
yesterday.
There's
We
Tommy's
learned
grandfather.
yesterday about the news in regards to Tommy's grandfather.
That's a real
Is
photo
that
of
his
your
gra- Wait,
grandpa?
hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Hold on 1 second. I got to remove my camera thing. Is that really your? Oh my
come on.
God.
It's from an Axe commercial.
That's really my grandfather.
Okay.
Looks good, man.
The
Watch
men
your
in my
word.
family are ripped.
Hey, Meredith, look what you're going to have in about 60 years.
Try 6 years.
Oh. We learned yesterday that Tommy and his grandfather have been stealing from his grandmother.
It's not stealing if it's in the house.
So we've learned that Tommy is an accomplice to ripping off his grandmother by selling her china behind her back. And it really got me to thinking why Tommy is who he is, but now I'm in the very compromising position of having to defend his grandfather's actions. So whenever you folks are ready, fire away with your questions.
Mr. Terrell, looks like a guy's been paying taxes most of his life. I am curious at these earnings that are going to young Tommy from you or your client. Are the proper authorities being paid in these situations? It feels like it's a little bit of an underground operation, and that's not even bringing up the lying.
Cut it now.
Well, first of all, I'm not legally obligated to discuss my taxes openly. I am a private citizen, so are my clients, and so there's no need for them to release that information. So perhaps you should try a different question, sir.
Oh, wow. That's not very open of you. I thought this
Already
was going to
looking
be
pretty
an
good.
open inquiry of everything, and you stated
Well, let me ask
as
you,
a
sir.
member
Let
of
me
the
ask you, sir.
freedom.
Why do you hate the fact that we run a successful small business and we employ people like Tommy? Why do you
As a
hate that?
successful
You
small
have no
business, we
problem
require
hiring
business licenses in Illinois. Do you have yours, sir, for your clients? I'd like to see that.
How do you know I'm in
Sir,
Illinois?
all the proper paperwork that's needed, the proper people have seen it. And since
Who
you're
are those
not one of those
people?
proper people, you don't need to know about
Can
it.
I get one name of a proper person?
My dad.
That's not a name, and you're not representing your grandpa.
You can't
Oh.
defend it.
God damn it.
Listen here, sir.
Oh.
My client has been a pillar of his community for years. He's a baby boomer, my friend. If it wasn't for his generation, you wouldn't have this silly ass thing called a podcast. So how about you sit your dumb ass down and apologize to a man who has given so much to this country, a man that has raised a great grandson like Tommy, a man you decided to hire. So it's amazing that you have a problem with my client's business and the person that it works with this business, but you had no problem hiring him as your intern. That's interesting.
You continue to say business. I would like to see some paperwork on how this is considered a business. To me, it seems like no more of just a poor lesson for the man's grandson in thievery, deceit, and illegal sales of international goods. It's called China. Yeah. Think about that.
You millennials are something else. You have no problem coming up with your silly cryptocurrency. You have no problem making money off your little YouTube shows and your little Facebook channels. But as soon as a man who has given his life and has paid taxes for more decades than you've been alive to this
So you
country,
do agree that paying taxes is part of it?
He has paid taxes. I don't think that was ever a
What
question.
about-
The fact that you would insult him by saying he does it. Who do you think you are, sir?
What about paying?
What have you done? What have you accomplished in this world to come after such a man who has given so much?
What's he given other than postage money to his grandson? Could I have an example, please?
He is showing his grandson what it takes to build an empire. But I guess since it's not your President Trump, I guess it's different.
You
I
too
was pretty good.
aren't showing your taxes. Speaking of China, are there additional tariffs because it's China?
I think that's how it works.
Yeah, that's how tariffs work.
Yeah, I'll also say he's dealing in China. China, also a problematic porn star / wrestler, brings up a lot of negativity in the young man's life. Don't forget that. I just wanted to make that point.
I can't say that I'm surprised that you're attacking a woman in this instance. Of course you
that's
would.
fun. That's
Of course
fun.
you would flip it and find a way to attack a woman that, by the way, is dead.
Yeah, I was waiting
But
for
okay,
it.
please feel free to attack a dead woman. Go right for it, Chris.
Oh, there was no attack.
It's
I
a
was just
new high for you. It's a new high for you. So you're attacking old white men and women.
Okay,
I'm sure your grandfather's gonna be happy about this conversation today.
Who are we talking about?
Talking about your grandfather.
I'm not fast.
It's interesting because if I recall correctly, your grandfather helped teach you about the business, and you had no problem. Tommy's grandfather's doing the same with them, and now all of a sudden you're offended by it.
I don't follow, but I do follow. I do follow eBay and mail receipts, and it appears young Tommy has been shipping to potential terrorist organizations for their dinner parties. How do you explain that, sir?
Oh wow! So now he's taking exclusive dishware, selling it to black and brown people, and all of a sudden they're terrorists.
Oh,
if
it
you're
was
gonna
actually a
behave this
Canadian
way, sir-
terrorist organization. Argument denied.
What a sad. I never thought I would see the day that you would go full Sean Hannity. I didn't ever think that you would antagonize veterans. I didn't think you would ever antagonize our baby boomers. I never thought you would antagonize a millennial like Tommy, who you had no problem, again, hiring. But when he's making money with his family, now it's an issue. Why are you this way? When did you all of a sudden become the Alabama of this show?
Very interesting.
Oh, poor Bill O'Reilly.
Excuse me? What was that? Was that
was
a
you.
glitch?
Listen, we've sparred enough, and I appreciate it. My issue is these pieces, these heirlooms, these wonderful things are not being brought to the free trade market. They're being pushed directly to folks with internet access in high socioeconomic success areas. That's where they're targeting. That's where they're doing their geo-targeting. That's where they're selling them. I just want everyone from every walk of life, race, creed, sexual orientation, to have the opportunity to purchase these goods in a legal and fair manner. And if you would like these things to keep getting handed over, like internships in Washington, D.C. or liberal New York, then that's on you, pal. Okay? I just want everybody to have an opportunity.
Yeah,
Tommy,
what's
can
up?
I ask a question? How long have you been waiting for a transplant?
About 21 years.
So, and it's the healthcare
Basically,
is very
I popped
expensive,
out,
right?
and then they were like, you need this. So,
And it's an expensive procedure, I would imagine, yes?
yeah, and I don't have health insurance.
So you need money in order for you to live,
Yeah.
in order for you to get this procedure so you can have a fruitful life, have a family of your own, have a career of your own. And it appears that my client is doing just that, just to make sure his grandson can have a future in comedy, so his grandson can have a family. And because the healthcare system in this country is so corrupt, he has to go through these means in order to provide for his grandson. So instead of you antagonizing him, how about you antagonize the politicians that make it difficult for people like Tommy's grandfather to go out there and provide for his family? How
We should
about you
stop
go
this
after
line of
them?
questioning.
Yeah. How
It's
about
making
you
me
apologize
uncomfortable.
to his family right now, sir? Okay? How about you do that? Because what we're seeing here today, Chris, is the reason why we needed Obamacare. Because people like you don't care about people like Tommy. You just like to throw around your belt loops, like to throw around your macchiatos and your sugar-free caffeine coffee. You're not worried about the little man. My client is.
Just ask their mama.
Thank you.
All right.
And Tommy,
interesting.
that H isn't for Hollister, my friend. That H is for hope.
Oh,
Could have also said heart.
Yeah, we should have
Or
stopped
health.
that. We shouldn't have even gone in on that. That one. I asked you twice to stop.
Well, your dumb ass decided to sit at the table. Your dumb ass decided to step up to the mic. And your dumb ass is going to be a part of
That's
my
fair.
argument.
Yeah,
That's fair.
if you think for a second you could harness or muzzle anything Travis will ever say, whether it's
You're
from
learning,
somebody
Tommy.
writing us
I
a
don't go
check,
after your insecurities, but all right.
oh, now it's
the
on.
entire show is
Oh.
one insecurity from another. Like, it's whatever we cover that day is how Travis feels about something because of an outside force putting it on him.
Is this how it is in Brooklyn, that no matter what you're talking about, you somehow 30 seconds into the conversation turn political? Is that how
that's 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Don,
That's like the third time this morning you've
Yeah.
been able to do that. And I'm like, well, what the hell just happened?
that's what they're teaching him at the fellowship.
Yeah, he's really there for retraining. Yeah, he's there for. Yeah, he's getting programmed. This is a leftover Obama era government program that gets you ready, and it puts people like me in a state. This would explain my insanity over the last month or two. Travis is just I can't pick it up, and he's getting good.
You liberal hippie.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Travis.
All right.
All right. Well, it's on, Travis.
So there's Travis and his devil's advocate. It's now time for Chris. Chris, today you will have to defend Big Sugar.
That's right.
Big Sugar.
Here for it. Don't
You
worry.
You love sugar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big part of staying on top of things, and they're the sweetest client you could have, and I've got nothing bad to say about them. So what do you got for me there, Trav? You look like you've enjoyed a lot of my clients. I mean, woo, hello. Talk about, this has got to be weird for you to question something you support so heavily.
Can I cut in here?
Sure,
Tell
Tommy.
you support your client as well.
Travis, continue.
Chris, you have been on the record as actually not drinking caffeine with sugar in it. How are you now representing the big sugar corporations?
Oh, one word, freedom.
Excuse me?
Just because
That's just the word. What does
freedom.
that mean?
Freedom.
Uh-huh. Right?
Just because my choice impacts me positively doesn't mean I'm going to try and come in and appropriate my thoughts onto your community. If you choose to gobble sugar by the mouthful all day long, just like one of your little Muppets, that's fine.
Oh.
That doesn't hurt me at all. I applaud you, and I look forward to the extra air to breathe whenever you go ahead. Freedom.
Interesting. Now, I am not one to body shame, but looking at your current physique, it does appear that you have had some time with sugar. Why do you hate it now?
There's no hate. I appreciate different collaborations. I believe you know the hip hop group Outkast. Once together, then they put out solo albums. I see myself and Sugar as the outcast of the human product world.
Huh.
So you would not put sugar in your body, but you're advocating that people put it in theirs?
Oh, no. I'm just here to tell you that it's okay if people do. That has nothing to do
Hey,
with
Tommy,
me.
can you do me
I'm
a
not
small
gonna attack
favor?
your
Can you run to
community.
the kitchen and grab a couple packets of sugar?
Yes,
I
I
think
will.
Chris, are you having coffee right now? That looks pretty good.
That's water.
Okay, yeah,
I'll be
it's
right
fine.
back.
Sugar water
I'll be
is
right
just
back.
as good. Thank you, Tommy. Because I want the audience to witness Chris actually step up to the mic and practice what he preaches. It's very easy to sit behind the microphone, Mr. Denman, and say that, other people should have sugar, but I'm good. I'm curious, if you're such a strong proponent of sugar, would you be willing to try it here live on air?
Oh, I don't need to do that, and I'll exercise my my right to
Interesting.
not
Now,
do so.
now, why are you not doing? Why wouldn't you do it? You're an advocate for big sugar.
Oh, absolutely, because I want black and brown people to remain employed at all the sugarcane factories throughout the United States and in the Caribbean. So again, I don't want to put black people out of work. Travis Terrell does.
And we do know that the people who work in these sugar factories, they're black and brown. I'm sure you have the numbers to support that. Am I correct, Mr. Big Sugar?
I certainly do.
That's a pretty good name,
certainly
actually.
do.
Hey, look, it's Mr. Big Sugar.
Also,
Hey, Big Sugar.
on that note, Kate in the comments says Big Sugar would be a great pimp name.
Thank you, Tommy. Now, if you don't mind, Chris, would you mind pouring a couple of those packets into your beverage, please?
Would love to pour Truvia, which is not sugar. You have an incompetent grabber. Sorry, we can't
You
go
guys
through
don't
with
have
it.
regular sugar here.
Can't go through with it. Oh.
Oh,
don't
wait,
do that.
so there's not regular sugar in the main offices of Midcoast Media? Aren't you a principal owner?
Again, once again, you see this? He just ate a synthetic substitute, not the real thing. Not the real thing. And you see what happens whenever you
look at the
don't
joy on
have
his
regular
face.
sugar.
Look at the joy on his face. Look how happy he is.
That is not joy, my friend. He's dying. He's dying. Oh, no.
Why'd you do that, Tommy?
I choose to not consume sugar in order to remove any question over bias or motive.
It tastes like everything that I don't like about Diet Coke.
Tommy
fair.
has went straight to ingesting cancer. Okay, great. That's awesome.
That might have just helped Big Sugar's cause there. I'm sorry, Travis.
Yeah, this is the main thing. Your
You
little
want-
experiment
You know what you
failed.
just did? Here's what you just did. You wanted him to do.
You wanted me to try the glove on. and
Yes.
The glove did not
This
fit.
this was Christopher Darden.
My Chris Darden moment. This was
Yeah.
my Chris Darden moment.
Oh, you just
A
had your-
genius in his own right. We all have our moments. We all have our moments.
Dan, you thought you had him, and then that twist at the end. All right, I'm ready to decide here after what just happened.
Yeah.
And Travis, I know it made Tommy uncomfortable. Your questioning or your defense of
That wasn't good.
Tommy's grandfather at the end, but it was pretty effective. Actually, it was real. It was raw, and it got to me
Just
a
like
little.
real sugar is raw.
Sugar cane. But you have had a Chris Darden moment here in your questioning of Chris Denman.
Your
And
glucose levels are
Tommy's
off the
still
charts.
making a face. He's
It's
still
stuck in the
struggling.
back of my throat.
Yeah, it is.
The taste.
Oh yeah, thank you for clarifying. And I have to award this to Chris. This devil's advocate goes to Chris.
A sweet victory indeed.
Oh, for the love of God, man.
You can hear that in between comics
If
tonight.
it's
at
not
Southtown
so
Pub.
sweet, then you've been in defeat. I don't know.
There you
I'm
go.
trying.
I like that. Let's
No.
try. I like it.
Always try, Tommy.
All right.
Always try. Nah, that's not true. You're right. You should just not try.
Travis, valiant effort, my friend. Tommy's grandfather will now have to cease operations in their eBay scam.
That's not a scam, man. They scamming their grandmother, but it ain't scamming anybody outside.
not
of
really
that.
Scamming the
Scamming
moral
the-
fabric of their family,
No,
but
here's the thing. Where did that money come from to begin with?
careful. This could be a really good make it racist.
No, it's
Careful. We don't want to do the Ben Affleck DNA look.
like,
Careful.
maybe Grandpa made some good investment things and
On the backs of
got some money, and Grandma got to spend some. But now it's time to reinvest that money. That's all.
in Tommy's McMansion.
Yes.
I love it.
I gotta get over there and see this thing.
Yeah, that's
That's right.
gonna be an episode.
Tommy, can we throw a party there? Can we throw like a launch party at your
No.
grandparents' house?
Travis just wants his Ryan on the Office moment. He wants to go to have a sushi party and make us video into the cool party and say that we're somewhere in
You know
a
what?
chat room.
That's good. That's a good point. That's who he is becoming.
Oh, he is. He's got he even has a
You
stupid
are,
beard.
Yeah, you are becoming Ryan on the off. Like you don't even
Season
realize.
what was it,
You've
season
become,
5?
Yeah, like
Six?
you're becoming a dick. But like that's just so you're aware. We've told you now. You are now aware of what's happening, so you have no excuses going forward. Just so you know.
But that is just such typical St. Louis behavior.
There
As
it
soon as
is.
someone else leaves, and they go do something else, all of a sudden they're an asshole for doing it. And that's
It's not
just
for
St.
doing
Louis
it.
in a nutshell.
It's how you respond to others when explaining
Right.
it, and
John
then
Hamm's-
also talk down and with condescension to them.
John Hamm's back here kissing babies, hugging babies, hanging out, going to Blues games, everything. All he does is wear St. Louis stuff on a Jimmy Kimmel, Emo's Pizza everywhere.
Yeah.
Travis, you leave for 7.5 seconds and torch the bridge on your way out. Unbelievable.
How many houses does John Hamm keep in St. Louis?
Probably 7.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure he has many properties currently in St. Louis right now.
Right off of Cass.
Sterling K.
Yeah, that's
Brown.
all it takes. That's all it takes right now for St. Louis. Since you just put on a stupid ass Cardinal hat, and you guys are like, "Oh, he's down with us."
Stupid ass Cardinals hat.
Oh,
You're not allowed to wear Cardinals hats for street cred on the train anymore.
yeah.
Man, y'all don't have ownership over anything inside of St. Louis. That's
There it
another
goes.
St. Louis thing. If I want to leave this city and put on a Cardinal hat, guess what the hell I'm going to do? Put on a damn Cardinal hat. You can't tell me what to do.
Will you go around Brooklyn telling them about your cock farm idea? I want to
Yeah.
hear what they have to say.
The what, huh?
And they'll probably be in full support. I'll
Yeah,
have
I shouldn't have
sponsors
said
probably at
that.
the
God
end of the day.
damn it.
Add sport.
You know how that'll work here.
Add sport to sentence of the week. Thank you.
It's a sport?
Yeah.
What the hell is a sport?
He said sport instead of support.
I did not. I did not.
Then I guess there was a hitch in the giddy up, but we'll add it anyway.
A hitch in the giddy up.
Don't
Nah,
forget
come
that.
on, Gardner. You're gonna let him leave that out there and not say anything?
Hitch in
A
the
hitch in the
giddy
giddy up?
Hitch,
If I Google it and it doesn't come up, it's going in your sentence of the week.
hitch in the. Look
How
up.
is it a punishment against me?
Because you're the one who doesn't know how to speak most of the time.
A hitch in the giddy up. Chris just said that. Why isn't anybody chastising him?
Because
I'm
it's-
looking it up now.
Because it's
and then
country
I'll
talk, and
chastise
I
him.
don't understand all of
Actually,
it
it
all
was
the
the
time.
second
That's
thing
right.
that came up.
I learned a little thing from you, Travis. If I just
Hold
start
on.
talking fast and say things that only people I know that I grew up with know,
All right.
you guys will just believe things I say.
Here is the Urban Dictionary definition
Uh-oh.
of a hitch in the giddy up.
So it's something.
The catch-all phrase used to describe an anomaly in physical behavior that is typically related to the aging process. Can also be applied to the thought process in certain individuals.
There's the thought process part. Yeah.
So I guess it's something, Travis.
Looks
Where are
like
you
just
reading
had
this
a
from?
little hitch in your giddy up, Travis.
Urban Dictionary.
Yeah, that's your Bible, Travis.
Yeah. Just because you say, let me bite your ear.
By the way,
Doesn't mean you have to.
really quick,
I'm just gonna start making up rural sayings. By the way, just like Travis
That's
does with
difficult.
us.
by the
Yeah.
way, saying hitch in the giddy up isn't helping our hayseed factor. You're
Well,
kind of just driving.
I'm embracing it. You know
you're
what?
Driving that into.
That's
the
what
ground.
I'm
your
embracing
H
it.
stands
Driving
for.
it.
Some
into a
people,
gravity.
some people take their entertainment power to New York. Some head to Nashville, which I'll be doing at CMT next week. You can check me out on all these shows. I'll be there. I've got a writing fellowship. I'm going to put my hat on. Woo!
Chris is going to write for the Grand Ole Opry.
just the Opry, just the venue itself. Hey man, can I run
Now-
your Facebooks?
Now, chew your ear off is in the Urban Dictionary, so
stop it.
technically
Stop
I've
it.
been correct the entire time
No,
as well.
you haven't.
So Gardner,
Chew your
you
ear
owe
off.
me an apology.
I don't
heard
because
chew your ear
because you've screwed up what you meant to say. Your intent is
Yeah.
to say bend
You
your
just- you
ear.
just found
The
something.
context is key in this.
No, I've heard chew
occasion.
your ear off.
Yeah, not
No,
bite
but
your
not
ear.
like this.
Bite your ear when you want to talk to someone about something. That's not
It's
a
the
thing.
same difference.
Bend your
No,
ear.
it's not. No, and also I'd like to clarify.
No,
When you
because
bite,
bend
you
your
chew.
ear
When you
comes
chew, you
from
bite.
because you are going to bend your ear to listen in. That's where the saying comes from. No,
But
you don't
to chew
start a
your ear
conversation by running up to someone and biting their effing ear.
Yeah, no, bite.
Travis,
Hold on.
I need you
Travis,
to tell
you
me
know what?
something, and now lean in. Hang on, wait. Travis, bite my ear like you need to tell me something.
Hey,
Hey, Travis, you said you saw that bite your ear is on Urban Dictionary, but did you read the
just chew your ear
definition?
off. Yeah, to chew
This.
your ear.
This is
What's-
not what you want it to be.
What does it say?
For sure.
What does it say?
An idiom. This is you. This is you. An idiom usually used to describe somebody who acts stupid or blank. Also used to describe something stupid or blank.
What's the blank?
It's retarded.
Oh, okay.
He'll drop 3 F-bombs in the first minute of the show, but he won't say the word
I
retarded. Okay.
dropped
makes
4.
sense.
All right.
Okay,
I
right.
understand.
Okay.
Because the F bomb isn't never
As
mind.
offensive.
Yeah, it's like. Okay.
It's true.
I also want to clarify this.
Only assholes use that word, Tommy.
Yes.
So I get it. Yeah.
It would come from like a horse. The giddy up, there'd be a hitch in the giddy up. Get it? There's like something
Right.
impeding it, slowing
Okay.
down the process. So there you go.
It makes sense.
Is there a way you guys can explain the Game of Thrones uproar without spoiling the show?
Yeah, no. There is. I posted an article on the Friends of WAL Facebook page. There's basically from Cosmopolitan, supposedly, who knows what this means? I didn't read it. I just saw the headline, and I believe it. Everybody's pretty angry with the way, I say everybody, there's a large contingent that's allowed online that's upset with the writing for the final season, and there's supposedly a petition being started to rewrite the 8th season and redo it. And again, I get it. I maybe they come out and just do a fantastic job with the series finale, get us all back on board. But you know, people are disappointed.
Travis,
The reason
a
why I bring it up
character-
because
A character.
okay, well, yeah, don't tell me about a character dying, Tommy.
Oh
I
no,
just
I'm
wanna
not.
know,
I'm not.
Okay. Tell me. So you're telling me the story has upset fans so that people are signing petitions?
Yes.
Okay.
And also,
Like what? Okay, go ahead.
there's that story that came out that I'm just going to read the headline. Game of Thrones creators plan to be, quote, very drunk and far from the internet when series finale airs. So that's not a promising look into the future of people that are already upset, I guess. But they already, I'm sure, have formed their opinions
Say
on
this-
what's going on.
Travis, I don't know if you have something to contribute on this, but say it does. Say it's the series finale is a dud overall, right? Popular opinion is the fans who've watched for 8 years aren't super happy.
Right.
Do you think that's because it's easy to blame the two that are running it because they're in charge, right? They have final say, right?
The
Is
showrunners, right?
Would you guess or would you wager if you could see all, like your boy Bran, if you could see all, would that be it was rushed / whatever complaints people have because the higher ups said, I don't care, you will finish it in this amount of time, do the best with what you got, budgets are cut, we have 6 other spinoffs to go with, and you just need to do this because ultimately people are going to continue watching, and we're going to hit these mother effers with a soap opera effect. Because that's what I feel like is happening with a lot of TV. We're not going to get Breaking Bad every time. What do you think? Would you be willing to wager that it came from above, right? There has to be some
I'm
hardcore corporate influence.
That's what I'm thinking happened.
I'm willing to wager that both of these showrunners are basically the toast of the town. So they have multiple very lucrative opportunities awaiting them outside of Game of Thrones.
Star Wars.
So they, as it was announced this week, that they're going to take over the next Star Wars film. So I think that they're kind of being, pulled in multiple directions, which may have led to maybe this season being underwhelming. Also, I think you can't underestimate the fact that they don't have George R. Martin's source material. I think that's when you have that foundation, I think that's allowed the showrunners to be as creative as possible as to where the storylines were going to ultimately go. Not having that source material, I think, is showing a comeback to haunt these showrunners. And I don't blame them for moving forward. You have to. I mean, George R. Martin's not even close to releasing the next Game of Thrones book. So you had to keep the show going.
What if
I
he
don't
is?
think they
He's not.
You think he's done?
What if he's been lying and wanted them to fail and say, hey, this is what it's like without me, and now I put the book out, and then everybody reads, and
So
we
you-
learn a lesson.
Are you thinking
Absolutely.
That
Very
sounds
much could happen.
insufferable,
Are
but
you think,
it's okay.
Are you thinking that he's finished the book and he's going to release it
After,
because he knew the
Yeah.
ending might be a dud?
Wow, what about that?
I think that would
he's a
be. I
selfish
don't
old
think he may
man,
have.
and that could very well be the case.
I like I said, I don't think it would be any ill intent behind it, but I think he also recognizes that there's a lucrative opportunity for me as an author to
Yeah.
make money off these books, and I think not having the source material is hurting
Does-
apparently the show. I'm a good 2 episodes behind, so I'm not sure as to what the huge complaint
Oh,
is
that's
about,
weird.
but it appears it's
an appointment
interesting
show.
because, and to that point, that's why I brought it up, because with it being the last episode of one of the most anticipated shows in the history of television, there doesn't seem to be a lot of enthusiasm going into this Sunday about this series. So apparently, with me missing the last 2 episodes, something must have drastically happened to absolutely disappoint fans to the point where they're just like, let's just get it over with and just be done with it. Which is a huge shift from 4 weeks ago.
If that's the way it goes, does that help Martin whenever he releases a book finally?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because fans are going to be clamoring. As you can see what Chris
Yeah.
said, you said 18,000 people have already signed this petition about rewriting season 8. So there's obviously a large contingent of people on social media and who support this show who are like, they're not satisfied with what they're getting this season. So I would imagine that being dissatisfied by the season will lead to their enthusiasm to go out and buy the book when Martin finishes it.
Yeah, everybody wants a hero and a villain, and if they look at this as a villain and they treat it as revisionist history is always interesting to watch. If they treat it like, well, the books and the show up until the final season were perfect examples of this art and this thing that we loved. Absolutely, in the books may even suck, but they're going to give it that opportunity to take over the hero role. That's how it is. And you just mentioned 18,000 people on the thing. That is significant, and it's a lot. But
It's not that
how
many.
23 million people tuned in. So who wins in the end? Like it's
the
not
Star Wars
But
thing.
I do think that fans appear to be dissatisfied with where the season has gone. And again, fans can be a little fickle when it comes to these things. But it does bring up an interesting point Gardner and I were talking about a couple days ago. What are shows that have had good endings?
Yeah, and I brought that up to you because I saw a certain tweet, and I'll bring the tweet up for you here too, just so you can see it. This is from Jared Diamond. He said, since everybody apparently is mad at Game of Thrones now, here's a question for you. What's a TV show that you thought ended well?
Well, you start with Lost. Everyone was really happy with that.
Buffy the
Yeah,
Vampire
I think that was the first time we saw a show that had been just critically and commercially praised just fall flat according to the fan base. I think that was one of the first time we've seen a show go, oh, that didn't end the
People
way
were real
we
mad.
thought it was going to end. People were very upset about that. I know people, of course, were very upset about The Sopranos ending, though I didn't. It was vague, but I didn't hate it. But I understood why people would be mad at how that ended. I thought The West Wing ended well. I thought Breaking Bad ended well.
I thought
I
Breaking Bad
thought
ended as
that
an all-timer. That was perfect. I thought.
I
Buffy
agree.
the
I
Vampire
thought
Slayer ends very well.
Okay.
okay.
That was the series,
Yeah.
I thought
not the
I'm a
movie with
MASH
Paul
person.
Rubens in it in the
All right.
'90s.
You're
I
what,
thought
Travis?
MASH. I thought MASH the series ended very very well.
Yeah.
This is probably something that people will be like,
Cheers.
man,
Cheers, I think, did okay. It was, just Sam at the bar closing or whatever, and that was fine.
That was good.
People were upset with Seinfeld, but
Yeah.
it was a show about nothing, right? That came full circle with a discussion on where a
Right.
button was placed, kind of to how the show started. So that was all that was.
I think
Yeah.
I think The
X-Files.
Office. I think if you're fair about The Office, is
think The
first
Office
of all
ended
that
well.
one season wasn't the worst thing you've ever seen, as compared to
No.
others. Wasn't nearly as good because all the writers were different. But I thought The Office. Maybe I'm rewarding them for the shit that they had, but they brought it back around just fine.
I thought I'm with Chris on that one. I thought Parks and Rec, the time jump that Parks and Rec made, I thought that was very clever and hilarious, and I think that ended very well.
You know
People
what?
were just gutted over Dexter. No pun intended. People
Dexter
hated
wasn't
Dexter.
good.
Yeah, Dexter was
That
a
last
bad ending.
episode was.
I
That was
I
a
wonder
bad
this
ending.
because people make such a big deal about finales. Like how I don't know, especially if it's a show that's consistently good, how you're gonna define. I have trouble defining it by the finale. That just seems a little weird to me because how does this look at what we're gonna have at some point? I would think, but how does The Simpsons end? Like The Simpsons has been on for how many years? How many
Simpsons
seasons
doesn't
now?
end.
It's if
Oh.
like whatever that last episode is, does it matter? I mean,
I don't know if this. I think The Simpsons is such rare air
yeah,
as
maybe.
a show because it's the longest running show of all time. I don't, and people have not only grown up with it, but people have now even started their own families, and now their kids are watching.
Yeah, there's
seasons.
no way that'll
So-
end happy for everybody.
Yeah,
Not
I don't think
everybody's
even
gonna
when
like
they end. Yeah, I don't think anybody. Yeah, I think people are coming to the conclusion with The Simpsons that it's just when it ends, it ends. I don't think it's going to have any seminal moments. But yeah, I'm with Tommy. I don't know if The Simpsons will ever end.
it. This is a.
Why
this
would
is-
it? Yeah.
This is a weird pull, but I remember watching it when it came on. The ending of King of the Hill was really good.
It was a great.
I haven't seen it.
Great cartoon. I don't know
Yeah.
if I saw it. I don't know. If I
The
saw it.
ending of
I
King
don't
of the
think I saw
Hill, it just ended with everybody from the block having a barbecue. It was just
Nice.
a very nice episode, and Hank was teaching Bobby how to cook, and it was great. It was honestly very good.
I'm waiting to see
Yeah,
how
I don't.
Gossip Girl
I don't know.
ends.
Gossip Girl. I remember when it ended, and it wasn't terrible, but it was.
Okay.
All I will say is that it makes you rethink moments in the series.
Okay.
The
I-
biggest
I-
okey doke I think I've ever experienced was that stupid ass Sons of Anarchy that had like a season and a half that was really good.
Yeah,
They were legit good. They
yeah.
were like on.
They were
They were
really
in
good.
the. It sounds ridiculous now that you would say this. It was in the vein of a Breaking Bad, all that stuff, and then it became a Dodge Charger
You know what?
infomercial, and it was so bad.
You know what show
I think that.
Go ahead, Travis.
Oh, go ahead. No. I'm sorry, Gardner. My bad.
You know what show I wish I could have seen end given the opportunity to at least end a certain way, because it was one of my favorite as an adolescent. Is News Radio. Like I wish
Yeah.
I could have seen it. There was no way that was going to end well. And when we look back at what that cast is, and Joe Rogan,
Why'd you look at me?
his
Why-
character was great.
Why
Andy
did you
Dick's
do
character
that?
was great.
You're the
Phil
one who
Hartman's
clearly
ca-
watched Joe Rogan in this studio.
So all the characters, that cast, that ensemble cast was fantastic, and I thought it was just a great show. But once Phil Hartman passed, there was no way that show was going to end well.
Yeah.
I wish,
Yeah.
this is selfish of me, but I wish I could have seen the way that show would have ended, because I thought it had some heart to it as well, and that's one I wish I could have seen end, or at least given the opportunity to see how it could have ended.
I know what we think of the man today, and we still should think of him that way. But I believe the Cosby Show ended very well too. I thought the way they concluded the show, of them walking out of the house and into basically the studio audience, I thought that was a really cool way to end such an amazing series.
A couple comments. We have one that says, that's from Triangle Assassin, saying Simpsons is going to end with Bart becoming the new Homer, and he has his own Bart. And then Tom Brown comic says Simpsons ends with Homer causing a nuclear meltdown. He thinks we should all be able to agree on that.
Oh, that's nice. Actually.
Yeah,
That's,
that would
be funny.
That's pretty good.
That'd
And
be
then
a
they
good way to end
show,
it.
they finally show on the map where the like the nuclear meltdown happens,
It's
right?
in Virginia.
What?
Didn't they vote on that like a long time ago?
I don't think so. I, think it's
you
still
vote,
up in
get
the
to
air.
vote on how.
Yeah. The same people who are protesting Game of Thrones decided it's
No,
in
when
Virginia.
the movie came out.
I don't think
When the
so.
movie came out, they did a contest because it was part of the plot of the movie was where they lived.
You know, it's not real.
No, Tommy's right. He's a nerd. He's right. But I will say this though. I wonder, Chris, you did bring up an interesting point about budgets at HBO. That does make me wonder how, I don't know,
pay
some
you?
HBO shows don't have the best track record for ending shows. So we talk about The Sopranos. Then there was a mixed feelings on 6 Feet Under. Boardwalk Empire ended incredibly poorly. Like, I am curious if HBO has a finale curse where they have these shows that build up and become part of pop culture, but when it's time to close them out, they struggle. I thought The Wire's final episode was underwhelming. So some of their biggest
Oz-
shows have
Oz was
underwhelming,
weird.
and
Yeah.
Oz had a very underwhelming conclusion. So it's a network that has created some of the best television shows in the history of our culture, but they have not landed the show
You know what?
well when it comes to an end.
Here, I'm going to use like something with baseball here. Here's where someone could find a niche as a writer. They just become, not for a genre necessarily, but they just become the closer.
There it is.
They
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
and they go from show to show with their final season. They learn, even if they don't really know about it, they learn about it, they watch it or whatever, and they come in and they become the closer. I'll teach you how to close down a season. So you can find a specialty with a writer in a way to help people close out their show.
Anything to draw a correlation.
That's a really cool point, Gardner.
I'd be really upset if the show Barry ended bad, because that's
Expect it to. Everything we're talking about,
It's
it had
hard.
its great moments.
it's the best HBO show in my opinion.
And I know we're
borderline
running
best
up
show
against
ever.
it, but why do you guys think that is? Tommy, Chris, Gardner, why do you think these shows and again, we're specifically in this case talking HBO shows who have absolutely changed the game when it comes to TV, why
I got
do you
an
think
idea.
they're having a tough time sticking the landing?
It's because we're comparing, we'll say, 5 to 10 years of something to literally one fraction of a thing. It's like you have this giant piece of work over here, and you're trying to put it up against this tiny little piece over
Yeah.
here.
And
it's just,
also-
it's simply just, it's
Hype
it's
versus
very, it's not possible.
execution.
Well, and also when these shows
Yeah,
become
true.
successful and that early on, look at the people that are involved at that point. As time goes on, it's not necessarily the same people involved. Like look
Very
at
true.
even with West Wing. If you say that ends well, Aaron Sorkin,
Was gone.
Is gone. Like it goes away at some point. And there's
Right.
other project, there's other things. So you're not as focused necessarily on one particular project, and that when you start doing that, you're going to make money.
Here's
you
something-
found your way to make money, but
And I think that's what happened with Thrones. I think Thrones became a product of, I think they are basically looking at a mountain of their success. And to Tommy's point, you're trying to climb that mountain. And it's very difficult to do because they raise the bar so high that expectations are almost insurmountable.
now I need to see. I'm trying to remember how Wings ended. I
Oh,
loved
yeah,
Wings,
great question.
but I don't remember how that one ended. I'll get back at you on that.
And if you, I did wonder if what Chris was mentioning earlier about the shortened season was a from the top thing, because if you look at how these shows are ending, like where the finales are, Barry and Game of Thrones have a night that ended. Veep ended the week before. I wonder if
Veep
there's
ended.
yeah. I wonder if they're setting it up so that they can just go right into their next season, and because they couldn't keep Game of Thrones on longer, they
I think it's
Yeah,
I think
so
it,
line
I
it
think
up.
it's a little bit
Have
of
something to do with it.
I think that's certainly a little bit of that, Tommy, and also I think it's to what Gardner said. Again, I think I think these guys are. Look, I forgot. I think they have like at least 4 new projects in the pipeline.
Were they doing the
the showrunners of Game
Confederacy
of
or whatever
Thrones.
the hell that was?
That
I think a lot of the
hasn't
Game
been-
of Thrones
they're
ones got canceled. I think there's only one
Yeah.
left now.
But I think the showrunners, like Chris pointed out, they're doing the Star Wars things, and I think they have a couple of other television shows in the pipeline that they're currently working on as well. So I think, like I said, they're being stretched thin, and I would be hard pressed to believe that HBO had any mandate for them. I think they realize that this is one of the most successful shows they'll ever have. So I wouldn't understand the benefit of rushing them off the air. If they wanted to do this season in 10 to 12 episodes, I don't see why HBO would all of a sudden say, no, we don't have the money, when it's been the most expensive show on television for the last 5 years.
Well, it's certainly possible, and I think that's giving them some credit as well. I will say, I want this from everybody. You watch Game of Thrones, Tom.
I enjoyed Game of Thrones very
Travis,
much.
you do too. Likelihood percentage, 0 to 100%, that they smack us in the mouth with their this Sunday and teach us a damn lesson, and we go, they okey doked us, and that was one of the best finales I've ever seen. What's the likelihood? 0 to 100%. Because we got to give them, they get a little credit. I think that it's possible that they're going to just eviscerate us, but it appears that this season would lead to a disappointing end.
I don't think Travis can accurately say anything on that if he is.
Going off based off the last episode I watched, which was the Battle of Winterfell, where I personally enjoyed it.
I think that episode.
I thought it was fine. Yeah, it was good.
I think I'm going to be fine with the finale. So I would say they are going to stick the landing at 75%.
That's pretty good.
I think it'll end well. I just don't think a lot of people will be happy with it.
Right, I agree with Tommy there.
I am not
Wholeheartedly agree with Tommy.
as invested as a lot of people are into the show, I've noticed. And so, like, I don't know. I think I'm going to love it.
What do you got, Chris? What are your percentages? What do you think?
I think you guys are both right. I think that I want to believe that they're going to do this thing, and I was like, told you, idiots, they did it. I'm going to say 40% chance that happens because, again, I can't get the financial impact and outside, because every single thing in the history of mankind, you want to blame one person, but in reality, it's the amalgamation of 1,000 shareholders that are making these decisions / pushing things certain ways. So I'm going to give it a 40% chance that it's amazing. I'm not saying it can't be good. 40% chance that it's amazing.
I think I'm going to cry a lot. That's just because it's a good show.
I think I'm with Tommy there. I think there will be tears shed.
All right, why are you behind, Travis? Is it just a time thing, or do you not have HBO there?
I don't have HBO here.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Oh wow! Look at Daddy Tommy making it happen.
How about that?
We'll
Tommy,
make that
you're
happen.
gonna.
I'll try.
His grandpa will ship you an HBO Go password. Guys, big thanks to Tech Electronics. Tech Electronics is a wonderful tech company right here in St. Louis. They made this studio possible. The mics we use, the streaming cameras, Gardner's whole setup. Huge thanks to Tech Electronics for being a great community asset and a wonderful business right here in St. Louis. Thanks to Getaway Golf Carts, getawaycarts.com. You can hashtag customize everything. St. Louis neighborhoods, we know we love our golf carts. Soulard, The Hill, wherever you're driving those golf carts around, you got to check out Getaway Carts, hashtag carte blanche. They're supporters as well. Make sure you support them, and shout out to Tommy Bannister of Circa Properties and also St. Louis.
And thank the Chinese food restaurant that hosted me today. Thank you.
Yes, to P.F. Chang's in Brooklyn and St. Louis Pet Once West. They're great supporters. I know Lynette is a huge Blues fan and has been watching intently. If you all want fresh pet food delivered to your home, Travis is eating the logo. Be sure to support Pet Once St. Louis West. Great sponsor of ours. You need to support them by buying their food for your pups. So, guys, we got some fair or foul. You want to jump into it?
It's now time for Brooklyn's Fair or Foul.
At this defining moment, change has come to America.
People often ask me, what's fair or foul? Is it a segment? Is it a movement? Is it hope? I can't say for certain. Time will be a true test of its power. but I can say Fair or Foul is now and forever for the people. Gather around the radio with your loved ones and hold on to your butts.
I'm gonna kill you.
It's now time for Fair
We give it back to you, the people.
or Foul.
Guys, we asked you about sports curses. Travis is about to get that ass cursed the second he walks back to St. Louis. I'm going to flip out on him because I'll remember this. Guys, we asked about sports curses for Fair or Foul. Winner gets $10 to Buzz's Hawaiian Grill, and we're very excited to be able to provide that for you. Let's see. Here we go. Travis, stop crunching into the mic. I'm going to jump off a cliff. Foul. How did Degrassi High win a single game with that jinx bitch Drake wheeling around? That's from the Black Sheep on sports curses. Fair. I let out a lot of curses last night. You feel especially helpless when the officials rob you like that. Kind of like how Tommy's grandma will feel when she realizes her grandson has become the third largest dish distributor in the state of Illinois. I mean, these hockey replay rules are more arbitrary than TTs for Game of Thrones recaps. The level of incompetence exhibited by everyone last night has only been rivaled by Tommy's attempt at a jump shot. That's the JVL Jackal coming hard with Fair or Foul. My goodness gracious.
You people forget I have to give you the prizes.
Oh, wow, this could be bad. Walk back into an office. Oh, you got him.
I got it.
You know, we
Okay.
make fun of him, but he manages to get
Got
it
it.
across an entire body of land every single time. Fair. I've been preaching it for years, but this is the reason Rowdy Roddy Piper, rest in peace, and never donned the belt. I don't know. TT's pink eye. Gardner, who you voting for today?
JVL.
JVL Jackal. Travis in Brooklyn.
JVL.
Man, this guy's going to own Buzz's truck when it's all said and done. Tommy.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like JVL.
JVL Jackal wins $10 to Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. Congratulations to him. And congratulations to all of you for getting to tune in and see the New York's elite on a podcast. My gosh. Good job today, Travis. You deserve it. Enjoy those Doritos in New York, Travis, for Chris Gardner, intern Tommy. Everybody else, That's bad. We're back tomorrow on the live stream. Don't fret. We have Chris Sear in tomorrow. We've got the great Jordan Rock in studio as well. Going to be a fun time. And big news, comedy tonight, but also a huge comedy show next week. Mia Jackson coming back to town. Her tickets just went live. It's called The Marvelous Mrs. Mia, a celebration of women comedy starring Mia Jackson, Libby Higgins. We love Libby. And Sarah Perry's coming down from Chicago. She's a very talented comic from Chicago. It's going to be here again. That's next week. Tickets available now. Limited tickets. It's going to be a very special night. We'll have some fashion, cocktails, and comedy celebrating with a little bit of a nod to Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We're back tomorrow, 8 a.m. live. We'll see you then.
Peace.